All right, to Fight Talk 2021. Today I got a special guest I'm going to introduce for you right now.
Hey, what's
Mr.
up, guys?
Miguel Cruz. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Chilling, bro. What's popping? What's popping? I'm excited to talk some boxing.
Awesome, man. So those who don't know, my man Miguel Cruz is a professional welterweight. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and give your background story?
Well, my name is Miguel Cruz. 18-1, 13 knockouts, signed with PBC. Here to talk about some boxing.
Yeah, what's up, man? Real quick, how long have you been boxing specifically?
Started when I was 13. So probably about 20 years, probably. Damn. No, a little less. I would say like 18,
So
16, 15 years, something like that. 15, 16 years.
yeah, some sort of math, right?
Some sort of math. A long time, man. Long ass time, basically. 13, bro.
Yeah, so I would say you know a thing or two about boxing, right?
Yeah, I know a thing or two, man. I think so.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good, man, because I'm excited, bro. I feel like every single show that I do about boxing is just me chatting to the camera by myself and like ranting about stuff. So it's good to be able to talk to somebody that's knowledgeable and be able to go back and forth and see what we agree on, see what we disagree on.
Yeah,
Definitely, because there's a lot of that going on in boxing as well.
yeah.
But let's start off with what we saw going down, not this past weekend, but 2 weekends ago in the 130-pound division. We saw this guy
Sure.
Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring. What'd you think about that fight? What'd you think about the build up to that fight? What are your thoughts?
It's kind of funny. Shakur Stevenson was doing the whole like taking away his belt, and they did that a week before Josue Vargas did it. Josue Vargas didn't work out, you know. So I didn't. I think it was kind of corny both times, but I mean, it was Shakur Stevenson pulled it off. You know, he got the belt off him. So I can't
Yeah,
hate on that. He fucking honestly, he just. I trained with Jamel Herring in Cincinnati when I was training with Broner. So like I know he's good, and I know he got like a lot of stamina. I remember he would do unlimited rounds. He would nonstop, and he would do like 35 minutes, 40 minutes straight sparring. Different guys. But I never really saw him as that like next uh, elite level as I saw Broner or I just didn't. I didn't. He got to where he got, and he's a great fighter. He's a really solid fighter. But I thought he was lacking a little bit on power. So I wasn't that surprised that Shakur was able to kind of clean him up like that. It was not surprising. Honestly.
yeah, definitely. I think
Just
like
stylistically based. I mean, Jamal's a good fighter, but it's just not a good style for him.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you brought up kind of that build up when he was taking the belt and all that. I feel like Shakur made it like really personal when he didn't have to. A lot of people were talking about that. He was saying this and that, talking
He
smack.
was just trying to sell the fight, trying to like a lot of times you just get over eager and you just want to win and you want to make a show of it. So somebody's got to be the bad guy. I don't think that I think he just is trying to go with how he's supposed to behave in his
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, definitely. I think for the future, obviously, I think he learned he doesn't really need to do that, but at
No,
the same
I mean he's so
time,
good that he doesn't really need us to do that. He's that
but at the
good.
same time, everybody else knows that he can take it there if he needs to.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
You
with
know what I'm
certain
saying?
fighters, he's gonna maybe need to take it there in the future. But just in certain fighters, you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, especially. So, I mean, that performance just in general, bro, he shut him out the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't like a competitive fight or anything like that. It just was kind of a beatdown. I don't think that it was a bad call stopping that fight. I think it was a good call. It's just it's a matter of time. It's just gonna
Yeah,
get
it
more.
was one of those stoppages where you're kind of like, okay, it came out of nowhere almost, but I don't disagree with it at all because the
Yeah, it
fight
was
was
just
going
there's
in one direction. He was taking a lot of punishment for no reason.
and
I
and
heard
he was
that,
probably gonna hang in there the whole time. You know what I mean? Like realistically, Jamel Herring, if they wouldn't have stopped it, he would have just hung in there the whole time and really just taken the beating.
yeah,
There's no, and he was gonna lose. There's no
yeah,
chance.
exactly. He had his little spots in like round five and whatnot, but other than that, man, he wasn't really showing anything that made me think like, oh, this guy's actually in this fight. I don't think he was in that
No,
fight at all.
no, you had to have a little bit of power to be able to, do something about all those combinations coming your way because it's hard to match that speed.
He's just so quick.
He's so quick. Valdez is gonna have a better time matching his speed. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But it's still gonna be a difficult fight for him.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I want to talk about too, because now that Shakur really made that statement, he won that WBO belt. He's calling for that Valdez fight. But let's say before we even get into that Valdez fight, what other options would there even be for Shakur at 130 pounds? Would you say if it wasn't for the Valdez fight, who else would you be looking for?
130. Hmm. Who are the champions in that division?
You got Gutierrez, the WBA champ, but I believe that he's going to fight Chris Colbert, and they're
That's a
gonna,
good fight. Chris Colbert is a good fight if he wins. You know what I mean? Just based off of the name, you kind of want to
yeah,
go for the bigger name. I don't really know who Gutierrez is unless he just knocks out B Hop in like a crazy fashion, which I think B Hop should be the favorite for that, right?
yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. Chris Colbert is a good fighter. He's got
Solid.
he got the colored hair and whatnot. He's flashy, but I mean, after seeing that Shakur Stevenson fight,
No, he don't got no chance on Shakur. Shakur's pretty much gonna clean out the division. I think. I think
I think that
Shakur's challenge is, they're coming up in weight classes above him.
yeah,
Outside of Valdez. Outside of Valdez.
yeah. So other than that, I mean, the IBF is vacant. Who knows
You
who
got
the
Tevin
IBF?
Farmer. Tevin Farmer's still in there. I forget, right? He's 130.
Yeah, Tevin Farmer was the former champ before JoJo beat him, but then JoJo missed weight that last fight, so they stripped him.
Nah. Oh, so now JoJo moved up.
JoJo moved up. He's gonna fight Haney, but so the IBF belt is vacant. Who knows who because the IBF, I feel like their rankings are always really weird. They got a bunch of like people that you never heard of, or people from those names where it's a bunch of consonants in their names. So that belt is gonna be, even with the 130. I don't feel like Shakur has to do the whole undisputed thing. I think really, if he wants to get that WBA belt from the winner Gutierrez versus Colbert, he can do that. But the real fight is Valdez. But do you think?
Yeah.
I think the question is, do you think that Top Rank's going to make that fight next?
Yeah, I think they are actually, because I just saw a video Eli Sekbatch put up, and it was Oscar Valdez talking about it. So I think he wants to fight now. He was asking for it himself. So I think when two people want to fight, they usually fight.
Yeah, especially when they're on the same side of the street.
Yeah,
right?
and the same side of the street, the money's right on it. It's a unification bout. All the money goes to Top Rank. It'll be a great Top Rank show. Probably the biggest Top Rank fight they've had in a while.
I mean,
Where
yeah,
it's two Top Rank fighters.
yeah, exactly. But what I'm hearing, this is the word on the street that I'm hearing, is that Bob wants to move up Navarrete and have him fight Valdez.
Yeah, and then so that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying in the interview, and those are the two options that he has to fight. But he's going with Shakur. That's who he wants to fight now. If it happens, we don't know. But this is what he says on camera. So
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Bob basically invented marination, so I wouldn't be surprised
I wouldn't be shocked, but
if they marinate that matchup.
I don't like letting Valdez wait too long. I think Valdez needs to fight him now.
Yeah. What'd you think about Valdez's last fight? Let's talk about Valdez real quick.
Valdez, right? He had like a disappointing last performance against Conceição.
Yeah, however you say his name, Conceição
Robson, and the Conceição. And the funny thing is, I actually like know him, but like it's hard to say his name, bro.
He's Brazilian, man. My Brazilian boy.
I don't know. I think that was a really close fight.
That was a tough fight. A lot of people said that Conceição won it. I feel like it was one of those. I feel like it was like the Lara versus Canelo fight all over again.
Perfect example.
Yeah, because it was one of those things where,
look like you were better. You look like you were better, but you didn't win because
you weren't throwing the punches.
You kind of gave up at the end, and you kind of like sat back on just your lead, which wasn't really that much,
Yeah. Do you think that Valdez?
And you can't go to somebody's house and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna win all the close rounds, like.
And I'm gonna take your belt by, not throwing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Mexico and beat the Mexican like that. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Do you think that Valdez's lack of performance might have been some of the nerves that were surrounding with or like stress related from
Nah.
all of the BS?
Honestly, I think that the lack of performance was due to Robson's excellent performance and his style, and he was a hard fight. And the dude, I seen him beat Machado. I seen him beat a whole bunch of guys in the amateurs. He beat Lomachenko technically, and then they overturned the decision. Like, this dude is like legit in the amateurs, gold medalist. I just think it was a big guy, really strong, really, really powerful. Not power puncher. He wasn't necessarily a power puncher, but his physical strength was just overbearing, and his boxing skills are good, and he's great condition. He's not going to go nowhere. He's not the type of guy that's ever even been hurt. It's just a long night for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe Shakur could beat him and look better, but it would still be a long night for him. That's not going to be what do you think is going to stop Robson? It's not going to happen. So he's going to have to figure out ways to outpoint him, and it would probably be just a tactical fight and, probably maybe even a little boring. And Shakur could win, probably clear, but that's still a tough guy.
Yeah, I want to say that he's still ranked #1 with the WBC. So
he should be right there.
Yeah, exactly. He's right there. Who knows what the WBC is going to do, because they're the WBC.
Really
but
solid.
you mentioned a certain name that I feel like if this guy comes back to 130 pounds, can shake up the whole division, and that's Lomachenko.
Oh, Lomachenko, yeah. Lomachenko.
Lomachenko's already been big for 135. He's not really a natural 135. So if he goes back to 130, if he goes back to 130, he shakes up that whole division. What do you think about that?
I don't see any people beating. Who we got? Who were we just talking about?
Shakur, Valdez.
Oh, man. Shakur versus Lomachenko would be something. You know who else I would like to see? I don't know what happened with him, but Gary Russell Jr., man, that's another one where
he's at 126, bro. I want to say he's the WBC champ at 126.
I don't know. He's been inactive. So I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he has. I want to say that there was chats of him moving up to fight Chris Colbert for whatever reason.
I think he put Chris Colbert to sleep.
Yeah,
I think so. I think he wouldn't beat Tank, but man, who knows?
I don't think Tank's ever fighting at 130 again.
Yeah, no. I think Gary Russell at 130, solid. I think he should beat everybody, except for maybe Shakur.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, bro, I think that Lomachenko goes in there and I think he easily beats Valdez.
Okay.
I think he easily beats Valdez.
I think so too.
And then I think Shakur has to really step up to the occasion, just like Teofimo did. And I think he could do it, but I don't know that he's as tactically sound in the game plan as Teofimo was.
Yeah. I don't know. The southpaw style, the size isn't really necessarily there as much of an advantage as it was for Teofimo. It's a different angle. It's a different stance. I don't know. It's a good fight. I think those are such high level fighters that those can go either way on any night. If you have a bad night, it just depends on whose night it is that night. Honestly, that's really it. They fight 10 times, you might get a five apiece.
Yeah, most likely. But that being said, man, speaking of Teofimo Lopez. Speaking of the 135-pound division, I feel like we have a lot of stuff going on at 135. So I'll just ask you straight up, who do you think is the best fighter at 135 pounds?
I think you got to go with Tank.
You think Tank?
Yeah, I think that's unanimous probably for most people.
Yeah, bro, I would disagree, man. I think Teofimo.
Really? Oh, no. Hell no.
You don't think?
I agree. I understand why you say that, but nah, hell no.
I don't think Tank's really fought nobody.
Bro, what? And the longevity, man. Come on, man. Leo Santa Cruz ain't nobody? Come on, bro.
Yeah, but he's a featherweight.
Come on, man.
He's a featherweight.
Bro, he ain't never been knocked out, bro. He never even been dropped, bro. He just got put to sleep.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a bad throw from him. Those 3 right hands in a row.
Oh, it was bad, but Lomachenko I don't know, and I just think Lomachenko stepped the gas up a little too late. I think it was a close fight, and
against Tank,
and honestly,
against Teo.
And I think honestly in a rematch, I think even with the size difference, I think Lomachenko would beat him. That's why I don't think
Teo's gonna take that rematch.
Teo want to even fight him. You don't want to see that because he was getting beat up in the end. I think once the Matrix started figuring it out, But
he figured it out way too late. And then I feel like Teo stepped it up in the 12th and really closed the show on that unanimous decision victory.
You know, you can say that he won. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he definitely won.
So he won. And but I just don't think that he would be able to go in there and do anything like that against Tank at all. I just don't think so, bro. I think he is. I think just based off of now, you don't got a guy who's going to be intimidated by your size. You got a guy who's going to be just as big, used to fighting way bigger than you. And he's going to be right there the whole night. He's extremely fast, extremely powerful, more powerful puncher than you are, faster than you are, more experienced than you are because he's got more fights. He's been in there with better opponents. If you discard, Lomachenko.
Yeah.
Because Lomachenko, outside of Lomachenko, he'd beaten Richard Comey, who Lomachenko's now about to beat up, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's not really – the performance against the Asian guy was relatively similar, you know what I mean?
Like Nakatani?
Yeah.
Lomachenko really showed out when he
Lomachenko stopped him. Lomachenko stopped him, okay, but, you know, styles make fights. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything. You know what I mean? That doesn't really mean anything. I just think in a rematch, Lomachenko would have beaten him, and I lost a little respect for Teo for not closing it twice. But that being said, he didn't have to do it. But I don't know. Kambosos isn't really like a fight that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, Kambosos is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong.
I'm
excited for the fight.
I'm excited too. Who isn't excited to see this guy come back at this point?
Especially after all the drama.
I like the way Kambosos boxes. He looks nice. He's got great combinations on the bag and things like that. But let's see how he's in there when you got a guy in front of you who's going to take those shots pretty well, you know, and see what happens when you get hit. You know, that's what I'm interested in seeing when he gets hit by a Teofimo right hand, if he can even hang around, you know. And then we'll start talking about an interesting fight because technical Kambosos reminds me a lot of Jorge Linares. They remind me a lot of each other.
Okay.
With their fight style.
Yeah.
They're explosive, fast, but he just kind of seems a little frail to me. I don't know. I could be wrong.
We'll see. Basically, we'll see how well he swims in the deep water.
Yeah. It just depends. That's deep water now. I'm sure he'd be offended by hearing this shit.
Oh, for sure.
But at the end of the day, like, you know, he'd have to prove it, which I'm sure he could. You know, but it just remains to be seen. It doesn't really matter. Anybody can say anything. It just remains to be seen.
Now, there's a couple other players at 135, and I want to ask you this question. Do you view Teofimo Lopez as the undisputed champion?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why? Because I think the secondary question to that is, is he more of the WBC champion than Devin Haney? Is Devin Haney the real WBC champion?
No, Devin Haney don't even exist in there, bro. We're talking about fucking Devin Haney really don't exist in there. Like Devin Haney.
Thank you.
Devin Haney is a top contender.
He's good. He's great, but
he's a top contender.
To me,
who he beat for the championship again?
You tell me.
Okay.
So, yeah. He got an email.
Teofimo beat Lomachenko. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Even Shakur Stevenson beat Jamel Herring. You know, shut up. It's a guy who defended his belt 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? He beat a legitimate champion. He beat a solidified champion. He didn't get some belt off the street that I don't know who the fuck they put up for whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was just exactly.
He beat, actually, you know who he beat? He beat Gamboa, and then they elevated him after that. Or maybe right before it. It was either right before or after, but
and then
still,
he beat Gamboa. Gamboa was 45 years old. You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference in Gamboa between like Terence Crawford versus Gamboa.
Yeah. Wow, come on, bro.
It's not even close.
When you're fighting 49-year-old Gamboa.
Like, that was like take a check, Gamboa.
You're supposed to win, bro. That was like walking out with a K, fucking Gamboa. He's done, bro. And he's been done for a while.
Yeah, no, for sure. But my thing is, man, I see so many people online just talking shit, saying, "Oh, Devin Haney's the real champ," blah blah blah, this and that. You know, Teofimo's the franchise champion. To me, that whole franchise thing, it might as well be the same thing as the WBA with the super and the regular title. If you're gonna say Devin Haney's the WBC champ, then Tank Davis is the WBA champ. And that's the same thing to me.
That's a lot of complication on the how many belts, who's got what. It's a lot.
It's too much, and it's silly. And that's, I mean, for me,
But
that's,
I think Haney, Garcia, Teofimo, and Tank, right?
yeah, that's who they call like the four horsemen of the division. But I mean, Lomachenko. First of all, I don't think none of them even beat Lomachenko besides Teo. Maybe Tank. I think Lomachenko gives Tank problems all day. But I mean,
Lomachenko doesn't give anybody problems.
At the end of the day, bro, we're gonna
he can even take punches. Like, he's really good, man.
We're gonna sit here and talk about this all day long because Leonard Ellerbe already said, and Floyd already said that Tank ain't gonna fight nobody.
Tank's fighting Isaac Cruz.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're not gonna fight nobody that's not within, their promotion. Essentially, they're not fighting.
I don't know how long
anybody else.
To last. I don't know how long that's gonna be able to last because it's just not gonna be able to last.
And that being said, too, man, what's up with this whole taking Rolly off of the thing? Have you heard anything about? I mean, over allegations.
Wow.
What's going on with that? Last time I checked, Floyd Mayweather was about to go to jail for beating up his wife, and he fought Miguel Cruz or Miguel Cotto.
What, bro? I don't know. Like, I'm shocked at that. Like, how are these fight allegations? How are these rape allegations happening fight week every week? You know what I'm saying? Every time it's a fight week, bitch.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. Like,
what's going on?
They out here trying to collect. That's what they out here trying to do. That's it. I don't think that really even did anything wrong. He just got caught up with some bullshit on some female that's trying to get some money.
But enough for them to take him off of the card?
I mean, I don't know. Something must have been.
This is what I think. I think that Rolly wanted too much money, and I think whoever their internal data analyzers are, were seeing the numbers and the projections for this pay-per-view, and they said, this ain't. I don't think this is gonna sell as much as Rolly wants for this. So let's use this as an excuse to take Rolly off. We'll put in somebody else. Now it's already generated more buzz, more hype. Tank is the real one selling the fight anyways, because nobody cared who Mario Barrios was. No offense to him. But it's really, at this point, it's Tank versus whoever. And we're going to pay for Tank. But all of this is just getting us talking about it. You know what I mean? Because
Isaac Cruz is solid, bro. Cruz is solid.
Solid fighter.
But I don't think on 5 days' notice is fair.
Well, no, I mean, they're not fighting this weekend. They're fighting December 5th.
Oh, yeah. They got some time.
Yeah, so they got like a month and some change. I heard that.
Still kind of short notice for a big fight like that. But, if he's in the gym, you got.
It's like 5 weeks.
No, not even. It's about a month.
Yeah, 4 weeks or so. But, I mean, he probably heard about this like a month ago or like a week ago. You know what I mean? If I'm Pitbull, I'm just like, oh, I'm getting ready. I'm at the top of this list of people to jump in. But
you're right. He probably had an idea that this could happen.
My last thought on that is they pulled this guy for sexual assault allegations, but this guy Tank, there's literally a video of him like dragging his girlfriend out by the hair out of like a basketball game, and I'm pretty sure this guy was involved in like a hit and run also.
Yeah, he's definitely a street guy.
Yeah, so all of this it sounds fishy, it smells fishy, and it don't make no sense. So
very fishy.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Unless it was serious, man. Unless he was like really like trying to,
Yeah, there must be some. Yeah,
unless he was trying to use the R word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there must be some like serious evidence against it.
Yeah, like
that's gonna come out right before the fight. So they're like,
it's
we gotta
come out sometime. Whatever happened has got to come out. But even happened to Jake Paul. Jake Paul got accused too the week of the fight with Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, and he was like, he shut that down so quickly.
That's crazy though.
Yeah.
But he had a lawsuit filed against him and everything, like.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Out of all of
because he had more full control of what was going on in his event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His Jake Paul, he had so many millions versus
it was
Rolly,
his event,
who's a part of somebody else's event. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot different when you get accused of rape.
Do you think they end up fighting?
Who?
Tank and Rolly?
No.
You think this is just it? They're not going to fight now?
Yeah.
And then so who does Tank fight? That's a real question. If he beats Pitbull, which he probably will, who does he fight after this? Because like kind of what you were alluding to a second ago, this can't keep lasting for that much longer. This Tank pay-per-views versus people that aren't at the top of the division. After a while, he's gonna have to.
He's gonna have to go for the JoJo Haney winner. He's gonna have to go that direction, or he's gonna have to go the Lomachenko direction if Lomachenko starts mentioning his name.
But there's no way they're making a deal with Bob.
Yeah, then at the end of the day, like he probably he's at 140 now, isn't he?
Nah, he went up to 140 for like one fight, and then I even seen that my boy Regis Prograis was like, "Dude, I'll step in for that December 5th card if he wants to take that fight at 140." And I don't know if I like that fight against him versus Prograis.
I think he knocks out Prograis.
You think so?
I don't know. I've never been that impressed by Prograis.
Yeah?
I don't know. But he's good. I just don't think that. I mean, I think he's a solid champion. He's a good champion. And I think he would have beaten Mario Barrios. He would have beaten Barrios. And that's like taking nothing away from Barrios. Barrios is a hell of a fighter, too. All those guys are hell of a fighters, But I just think, like, when I think of Tank, I think of
kind of a higher level.
A little bit of a separation with the speed.
Mm-hmm. That speed and power combo, that velocity.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I could be wrong. And Prograis could probably take the punches, hang around there, and use his size to just kind of break down Tank and stop him. Because I think that kind of fight is going to be a stoppage for sure, however way. But I don't know. If it goes by decision, I think that Tank could probably just beat him by points. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good fight.
Well, that being said, before we actually move on to the 140-pound division to close out 135, who do you think is going to be like the first fight that we see between those people? Do you think it's going to be Teofimo versus the winner of now that Teofimo's fighting?
I do think it's going to be Teofimo versus Haney, and I think Haney's going to beat JoJo.
I think Haney's going to beat JoJo also.
Yeah, I think Haney's going to beat JoJo, and I think
it's going to be a tough fight.
That will kind of solidify his. Actually, I don't know. Devin Haney is champion. My bad, because he beat Jorge Linares, and he's defended his belt. I think that I'll give him the Linares fight. But if he beats JoJo for sure, like JoJo's a former world champion, JoJo's Olympian, JoJo's done this, that, and the other. JoJo was gonna fight Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia pulled out of that fight. If he fights him and he beats him, that puts him, I think, front of the line.
Yeah,
and then Ryan Garcia still got to recover from his injury. And even if it was him just to come back fully healthy, I still think I would put Haney over him in regards to who deserves it.
Yeah.
What do I want to see? I mean, I want to see Ryan Garcia.
I think the easiest fight to make, promotional-wise, boxing politics-wise, is Haney versus Garcia. But I think Garcia needs some sort of like a tune-up fight or a lesser opponent fight.
Now he definitely needs it.
After the injury, he hasn't fought since January, so he's gonna be out for way too long to just step in against Devin Haney, the toughest fight of his career. There's no way.
I agree.
But I mean, moving on to 140, we got Josh Taylor, who is the undisputed. I don't think there's really any, disagreements with that. I mean, what do you think could even be the next move at 140 pounds? Who are you looking out for?
140, Josh Taylor's got that pretty set. I like my boy, Subriel Matias. He took an L a little bit last year. He's bounced back with a couple wins from undefeated fighters, and he's in the top 10. I do really like him against any of those guys. But that's just somebody who I think, I'll just give an honorable mention to. But in reality, 140, man, we got to talk about Choncepeda. We got to talk about Choncepeda, man. Choncepeda's that little motherfucker right now, man. Choncepeda's he's the one to watch out for right now. He's a spicy guy.
He's a dark horse.
He lost to Josh Taylor before.
Did he?
Yeah. He lost that fight. That's one of his 2 losses. And I think stylistically, that's what puts Josh Taylor at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Is that those wins over those guys. Because I like Baranchik a lot. But Baranchik just got knocked out by Zepeda in a crazy fight. You seen that one?
Yeah, bro, that was nuts.
It was a hellacious war.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It was
for as long
amazing.
as it lasted, right?
For as long as it lasted, it was beautiful fucking dude's poetic destruction.
Oh no.
That one. But Baranchyk, you know, he's right there too. Like, you know, you got to look at that guy and be like, man, he can come back and hurt any of these guys. But just based on the fact that Zepeda has had such incredible performances in his last couple fights, I think that boosts Josh Taylor's stock even just more.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Plus he beat Regis. Plus he beat. I mean, who has he not beat? If you think about it. So then there's Mario Barrios. It was Mario Barrios was like I think the belt that he didn't have, and then you know Mario Barrios.
Well, he has the super championship. Like the Mario Barrios' belt was like the regular champ. You know what I mean? So it was like the secondary title. So you got Tank Davis. They're talking about, you know, to bring it back to him, they're talking about, oh, he's a 3-weight world champion. And it's like, well, the only super WBA belt he had was at 130. 135 is a secondary. 140 is a secondary. So it's like, I feel like when Canelo beat Fielding, everyone was like, oh, that's a secondary title. That's the WBA regular. So we got to keep that same energy with Tank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it was. It wasn't. I mean, he wasn't the champ. You know.
Yeah. So it's
like
at
140, he wasn't the champ. At 135, probably I could say. I mean, he still has work to do.
You talk about Tank?
Work to do. Yeah. He's got people talking, and it's not clear who's the best yet. And until the smoke clears, you're not, you know what I mean? In my opinion, you know, like if I think about champions, right, or that I grew up with, I think about De La Hoya, I think about Trinidad, I think about Hopkins, I think about Calzaghe, I think about Roy Jones, I think about Prince Nassim, I think about, now I think about Prince Nassim, but outside of Prince Nassim, Floyd Mayweather, guys who like were champions, cleared the division.
Yeah.
You know I mean, like Trinidad at one point cleared the division at welterweight, and so did De La Hoya, a lightweight and junior welterweight. So did, you know what I mean? Like Hopkins, undisputed, all belts. Roy Jones, motherfucker had so many belts you couldn't even count them.
Yeah, went up to heavyweight.
Those guys are champions. Tank maybe was a champion like that at 130, like you said, but at 135, think about Roy Jones when he was at 175. Think about Trinidad when he was at 147. Think about, I don't know, Mayweather when he was at 147. How many people were around him, right? You had the Cottos, you had the, you know, the Bertos, all these guys that were like, you know, Margaritos, the Mosleys, just these guys, right? And he ended up beating all of them.
Yeah.
Which is what Tank has to do.
He's got to, bro. He's got to. I mean, if I were to rank,
he's got to either move up in weight and beat Josh Taylor, skip this weight class.
Psych, no way.
Or he's got to beat these guys, or he can wait for these guys to beat each other and beat the best one out the bunch. Which maybe that's what his plan is.
I mean, honestly, I think if he wants to, if he really wanted to, and if Mayweather Promotions really wanted to, Leonard wanted to make that move and have him fight Josh Taylor, they can do it. They can hit up what's his face, Gilberto, and with the WBA and say, yeah, we want to unify that title. The WBA has to unify these titles anyways because they're being mandated to flush out all of these titles, these extra titles that they have. So he could be Josh Taylor's mandatory like that if he wanted to with a conversation. You know what I mean? But
it's a good fight.
I think he vacates that title.
It's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. I think that's a good fight. That's a good like opportunity to elevate your status if that's what you want to do. If you want to be the undisputed, but you know, it's I feel like that's still skipping a lot of steps from where he is. I don't think
he still has a lot of work to do before we even talk about that.
He got to be Teofimo.
Yeah, he does. Teofimo's the number one guy.
Yeah, as of right now, Teofimo, he got to be Teofimo. I consider Davis the best. But now, like, going back on that question, like, the champ is Teofimo because he's got all the belts.
Yeah.
He beat Lomachenko for all the belts. And so, not Devin Haney, this motherfucker. Tank, he got a belt, which is great, which gives him the green light to make this unification really happen. Which is what they really need to do. And that's what really needs to happen. Outside of that, that's the only way he can solidify himself as number one undisputed. That's it.
No, absolutely.
As of not, right now, there's a conversation who's the better champion between them two.
It's Teofimo.
And I guess if you want to include Haney in there. You know what I mean? Like you can, but okay, like out of those three, it's one of them is the best out of those three. So
Yeah, because Ryan Garcia is out of the conversation.
Guy, he's not a champion. So like, you know what I mean? Like we're talking about the champions. Champions are those three. So who out of those three? If Ryan Garcia's got to fucking be one of those three to be in the conversation.
He at least was somewhat in the conversation because he had that WBC interim title that would make him the mandatory.
Because he's just got this incredible following, kind of like Jake Paul could be just about in any conversation, but it's not really mean that he.
It's not real.
It's not that it's not. It's real because it can happen, but it's not real because it's not earned in the same way, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not the same thing, but
not as pure
we'll see what happens.
as the boxing fan wants it to be.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, you're right. There's a lot that needs to happen at 135 because you hear Teofimo was already talking about moving up in weight. He wants to move up in weight and fight Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
And that's a fight. Honestly, if Teofimo wanted to say, "Hey, I tried to make all the fights with these guys at 135. They don't want the smoke. I'm the one that wants the smoke." And honestly, right now he has already proved that he wants to smoke because he fought Lomachenko, who was the boogeyman of the division. So then if he says, I got an easy fight to make it top rank, I can move up and fight Josh Taylor, then I think that fight with Josh Taylor actually it trumps all those other fights. You know what I mean? Like those other fights at 135, I feel like do need to happen, and it will be a bit of a disservice to boxing.
Doing something great, you know what I mean?
And if he goes up and fights Josh Taylor, that's actually a greater achievement by far than fighting any of those other guys.
Yeah. So like there's ways to overstep. That's why there's such a thing as a step aside fee.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think
there's a bigger chance of that. I think there's a bigger chance of Teofimo fighting Josh Taylor than Teofimo fighting Tank Davis.
I don't know why, bro.
It's politics, bro, because Leonard Ellerbe and them, and it's everybody. It's not just one person's fault. Like Bob Arum don't want to make that
Tank, he don't want Tank to lose to Teofimo.
Yeah,
but I don't think that would happen. I mean, there's a chance that could happen, but I don't think it would happen.
I think so, but I guess we'll see when that happens in 2025, right?
I know. Yeah, I guess, bro. Can you believe that? That's forever, bro.
I'm calling it right now. 2025, Teofimo Lopez versus Tank Davis.
Damn.
And they'll be fighting over who's the A side.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, that's what negotiations are going to come down to. But speaking back at 140, the super lightweight division, man, I was saying before that I think the dark horse of that division was Mikey Garcia. But he just got dark horsed himself with my boy Sandor Martin.
Yeah, he did. I don't know who that guy is, but he did his thing.
Bro, I think did you watch that fight? And
was it at 140 or 147?
It was at a catch weight of 145. But they're both technically like 140 pounders. You know what I mean?
Oh, so he got beat by junior lightweight.
Yeah. So technically it was a welterweight fight, but it wasn't like hey, we're going to cut a little off of welterweight. It was like, we're going to put 5 extra pounds.
He doesn't belong in that weight class. He doesn't belong in that weight class, bro.
Yeah, they would just threw 5 extra pounds because if you look, Mikey looked a little fat.
He is fat. Bro. He's that fat in my weight class. He's fat in this weight class. He's fat at 140, anything up. He just needs to be at 135. He's the type of Mexican that, and I say Mexican because I know, Mexicans and Puerto Ricans just, they're not really that educated on, making weight and things like that. They do stupid things. Like I remember an interview and it was Brandon Rios talking about how he would go, like it was like him like following him. They were following him for one of his fights, championship fights at 135 back when he was champ.
Yeah, Mike Alvarado?
Yeah, something. No. But before then, when he won that belt, that he fight Alvarado for eventually. But like he didn't eat for a week, and he was talking about it. He was like, I haven't eaten for a week. Like he starved himself for an entire week.
Stupid, bro. Stupid how people do that.
Completely different. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I understand how that makes sense in your mind that by not eating, you will lose weight because inevitably you cannot put on weight if you do not put anything in your body. But it's just such a like stupid way of thinking. Like that's how I thought when I was like 12 or 13. You know what I mean? Like, you're grown. You know, nobody's telling you nothing. Who are you training with? Who do you got around you? You know what I mean? Like, and it's the lack of education a lot of times. And that's what I think is Mikey Garcia shouldn't have that issue. He's got so much money. He should know how to do it. But I don't know. Why is he so fat? I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just I think he took Sandor Martin as like a tune-up fight, and he took him a lot lightly. And I think what happened, if you watch that fight, is when Mikey had him in the corner, Sandor Martin was catching him with these tight check right hooks right on the chin too. And I think that made Mikey kind of be like, okay, I don't want to get hit with too many of those, because they were catching him right on the chin. And it wasn't like Martin was this crazy puncher or whatnot, but if you get caught with too many of those, you got a different fight. And I think they were checking him a little bit, and that's what caused, between the preparation or lack of preparation and the fight being harder than he thought it was going to be.
It was just a hard fight. It was a hard fight. Any fight can be a hard fight. And any guy can come in there on a good night and just give you a nightmare, bro, even if their record might not say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to be ready for that. You got to be ready for those guys that might have a couple losses but are rugged.
Ask Abner Mares. You know what I mean?
He got knocked out first round.
Like the first round, bro. Everyone was like, I thought this guy was supposed to be the next guy.
Yeah, that's Amir Khan. You know what I mean? Like things like that.
Yeah, versus Prescott. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like if Mikey Garcia can get his shit together, rematch Martin and beat him in a great fashion.
At 140, he could do well.
At 140, he's a problem.
Yeah, but I still don't see him against Josh Taylor doing too well. I still see him as smaller than Josh Taylor, to be honest with you.
Josh Taylor's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's a great fighter.
Regis Prograis, I still see Ryan Garcia or Mikey Garcia smaller than Regis. You know what I mean? I still see.
I mean, Mikey was a 135. I see
Mikey Garcia going back down to 135 now, and it's just at the same time as when you were there. It's just now you got these new dogs in there that
you're not fighting Robert Easter.
They're faster, they're bigger, they're quicker, they're younger. They're probably using PEDs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
a whole world of shit coming your way. And my G, you just need to retire because you made your money, bro.
Nah, I mean, that might be the next move for him, bro, because it doesn't really seem like his head's in it too much.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like that to me. It doesn't seem like he was that Mikey Garcia that he was.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem
but what I will say about Josh Taylor is I heard, because you always hear the top rank rumors, right? Top rank always wants to have their guys move up. I mean, that's really the story of top rank too, is top rank's always like, let's get a 140 pounder to move up to 147. So I've heard the rumors of they want Josh Taylor to fight Terence Crawford.
Oh, God. I mean, I guess. Yeah, sure. But, come on, bro.
What do you think about, moving on to 147? What do you think about what's going on at 147? Let's start with Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter. What do you think about that fight?
Super good fight. I think Porter could pull off the upset there.
Yeah.
I think Porter could pull off the upset there. I don't think he is, though, but he could.
How do you see that fight going down?
I see it as like a rough night for Terence Crawford. Just all like rough night. He's gonna come out with bumps, bruises, welts. He's gonna get beat up. He's gonna take punishment in that fight. He's gonna weather the storm, come out with the victory. I think he's gonna hurt. Porter coming in a couple of times, and Porter's able to back up, fight on the back foot as well, and he's just not easy to hurt. But I do think he's Crawford's power is different to the point where he's going to hurt him. And then it's just going to be, at that point, who's the better boxer. And I think that Crawford is going to be able to outpoint him from a distance once he kind of, inflicts the damage that kind of backs off Porter. Once it turns it into like where he gets his respect and he can get his space, because Porter's going to try to overbearingly crowd him. You know what I mean? Just crowd him, pound him.
That's his style.
And so I think in the beginning, especially, it's going to be really hard for Crawford to get this guy off him when the beast is at full strength. But once I think in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th round, Porter's gonna get hit with something. He's gonna get hit with something. He's gonna shake. He's gonna wobble him. You know what I mean? He's gonna make him do something like that, and he's gonna start, backing up and moving, kind of like he did against Keith Thurman, kind of like he did against Danny Garcia, kind of like he does whenever he gets hit with a good shot, where he'll put it in reverse, start moving, boxing on you, showing you a new look. And then at that point, it's going to be a sharpshooting fight. And then when it turns into a sharpshooting fight, I think Crawford's going to be able to walk him down a little more easy. He's going to be able to use his distance. He's going to be able to just beat him by points. And I think he beats him by unanimous or majority, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like this
116, 112, type of shit.
Yeah, something like that. We'll see what happens, man, because, Porter, I feel like every fight he's in against the elite guys is a close fight, whether he wins or he loses. Spence was a close fight. Thurman was a close fight. Danny Garcia was a close fight. I thought Danny Garcia was smoking him the first 3 rounds. And then Porter came on. Yeah. And then Porter came on. Because at first I was like, man, this might be an easy night for Danny. Because Danny was smoking him those first 3 rounds. And then, Porter just came back and started, basically shutting down those combinations. I mean, the Ugas fight was a close fight.
Close,
Ugas is right there.
I saw Ugas winning that one.
A lot of people did, man. And then, but the thing is with Terence, bro, Terence has so many looks he can give you out of both stances, and he's able to really find those shots in between the shots. I think he's very cerebral. You know what I mean? I think those shots with Porter those shots are there to be found. It's just a lot of people get kind of overwhelmed and crowded. But you seen he got dropped by Spence like that. He got dropped by what's his face? Adrian Broner. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when he rushes in, he rushes in head first, chin up.
No, and Broner hurt the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sat him on his ass.
He got up and he was not hurt, but he was buzzed.
He was like, all right, you got me with that one.
Yeah, he got buzzed a little bit on that shot. He got buzzed a little bit. And then in regards to Spence, I think Spence probably hurt him more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to if Terence is able to handle that pressure and if he's able to find those shots in between.
He will. And that's going to be the exciting part about it, because he will find his spots and he will find his way out and he will hit him and he will get hit, because it's just you're not going to fight Porter and not get hit. Unless you clip him in the first round, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and from what I understand, this is Crawford's last fight with Top Rank. So, I mean, do you see him signing with PBC if he wins this fight?
No. I think he could probably go free agent and be his own promoter at this point and
do the Canelo route.
Yeah, do whatever he wants.
I think that's a good strategy.
At his level, he don't need to sign with nobody no more.
Yeah, do it one fight at a time, see what's up, because he needs that Errol fight.
Yeah, he can need that Errol fight, but he could get a freaking, who knows, bro? Who's the next big guy in MMA that they want to throw in there? He can get some crazy shit like that to do it. Who knows,
some crazy crossover fight or something.
Yeah,
but the thing is
when you're independent, you can do whatever you want. I think that's what I mean. Like, he could fight Jake Paul if he wanted to.
Yeah, but Crawford's not a big personality, man. Like, he's so boring on the mic.
He sure is boring. He's definitely a snoozer when it comes to talking.
Yeah, you try to listen to his his media. You got to grab a pillow, bro, and a hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate pillow, marshmallows, blanket.
All that shit. Yeah, exactly. Ready, but because you got Bob Arum's even like, man, I can't even promote this guy. But I'm like, Bob, that's your job, bro. What they need to do is promote his skills, because out of his last 12 fights, 11 of them have been stoppages. The only person he didn't knock out was Victor Postal. Other than that, he stopped everybody, bro. He's on 8 fights in a row. 8 stoppages in a row. And nobody's talking about that.
That's nuts, yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about Errol Spence like these guys, some destroyer. And Crawford's over here stopping 8 people in a row.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But everyone's like, oh, the level of competition, this and that. But I mean, he stopped Jeff Horn, who beat Pacquiao. I know you can't really do the math on it. But
Who beat Jeff Horn? Freaking Costa Zeus' son beat Jeff Horn.
Tim?
Yeah. Everybody beat Jeff. So.
Yeah, I know, right? But We'll get to 10
did
minutes.
not beat no Pacquiao, bro. Come on.
Yeah, on the scorecards.
Yeah. He got it in the history books. He sure did.
In the history books, at the end of the day, he'll be able to hang his hat on that one.
When people are dead, when our kids and your kids and their kids are dead, and they look at BoxRec, the motherfucker beat him.
He got that W. Yeah, he got that W back in July 2017.
Hopefully by that time, like, all of the film has been eradicated, which probably won't even happen. Like, they'll still know. It's gonna be known. Like, he didn't win that fight, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, that being said, so we look over on your side of the street, the PBC side of the street, right? And I think the fight to make is an easy one to call. Spence versus Ugas for the.
I like Spence versus Ugas.
But from what I understand, it's not happening because of the WBA.
You know what can happen? You know what can freaking happen? And I think it will be cool with it, man. I think Jerome Ennis can fight Ugas, and that's an okay fight to make.
But do you hear what's going on with the WBA right now?
No.
Oh my God, bro. Dude. So I don't know what my man Gilberto is doing. That's his name, right? Gilberto Martinez?
Yeah.
Dude, this guy, I guess after the ABC announced that, basically threatened the WBA saying like, hey, we might not even recognize you guys anymore because what y'all are doing with these belts. Gilberto said, okay, we'll consolidate the belts. So what they're doing specifically at welterweight is a 4-man tournament within the WBA that they're mandating Ugas to be a part of. And what happened with that was the first fight was the fight this past weekend.
Yeah, Shango.
Yeah, with
Jamal James and Butaev.
That was fight number 1. Now fight number 2 is supposed to be Ugas versus Stanionis. But this is what Ugas is saying. Ugas apparently was trying to get a meeting with Gilberto saying, bro, I had to fight through the ringer. I had to go through this, that, and the next to be able to get a shot at this title. I just fought Manny Pacquiao and beat Manny Pacquiao. And yet you're going to mandate me to fight this guy who, he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. Stanionis is a good fighter, but who's he fought to deserve this? You know what I mean? Do your little tournament without me in it and let me go fight this unification. But here's where it gets even worse is that Ugas was trying to get this meeting. Gilberto was over in Colombia. So Ugas flew to Colombia to have a meeting with him, and Gilberto snubbed him and didn't even have a meeting with him. Basically said, nah, you're fighting in this thing. I don't even want to listen to you, bro.
I mean, he could vacate the belt. He could do that.
But then what's the draw with Ugas versus Spence?
Yeah.
That's really the reason why we want to see that fight.
Really the reason.
You know what I mean? I feel like the WBA is just messing shit up in general.
I don't think Stanionis beats Ugas, but it would be interesting to see if he did.
And I like what you're talking about too with Boots, because Boots, if you're talking about a dark horse at 147,
Boots, bro.
Boots is that's the biggest dark horse.
That's the biggest dark horse. I think in any division right now, he's the biggest dark horse. Yeah,
bro. I mean, I heard all these boxing heads talking about last week, like, oh, we'll see how he does against Delorme. If he can finish him, I'll be impressed, bro. First round,
destruction too.
Yeah, bro. And the way he switches up both stances.
Nah, he killed him.
Yeah, wild, bro. This guy's
and then motherfucking Thomas Delorme coming out with excuses about, it's the back of my head.
Don't bend down like that, dog.
Don't bend down like that, dog.
What you doing?
Don't bend down like that, dog.
Yeah, you trying to get hit, man.
You're looking on the ground like you fucking looking for fucking ants and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, obviously something's gonna come over the top.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's counting ants on the ground.
Yo, yeah. Dude.
And getting hit with something.
Toenails and shit. Like, nah, bro.
Exactly, bro.
Part of the game.
I mean, we'll see what happens at welterweight right now. Obviously the biggest fight is Crawford versus Porter. Spence, I don't know what he's doing. He said that I don't need no tune-up fights. Tune-ups are for, people that aren't sure of themselves, this and that. So he wants to get right back in it. I don't know. Obviously, there's no announcement on Ugas versus Stanionis, but I feel like the WBA and Gilberto need to get their shit together and just let Ugas fight. What's his face? Make Stanionis fight. What's his name? Butev or whatever.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, make them fight each other in the meantime, and then
it's for a belt. That's a good fight.
Yeah, and then tell Spence and Ugas, hey, if we make this fight, the winner of y'all have to.
That's a good fight.
Y'all are.
That's a good way to go.
Your mandatory is the winner of them too.
Butaev versus what's his face? Yeah, I think those all sound nice. And then Boots is number 3 in the IBF. He'd fight the winner regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be nice. But I still think that Ugas got to fight Spence when Spence comes back.
Oh, bro. You know who
Crawford
you want to talk about? We're not even talking about the WBO with my boy Virgil Ortiz.
Oh, forgot about Virgil, bro.
How could you forget it? I think we forget about Virgil Ortiz because Boots just showed what he showed like last weekend.
Maybe.
But Virgil Ortiz, bro.
Yeah, okay, those are the guys. That's the next come up. That's the next wave. Is the Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis. That's the next wave. So we'll see how that goes. I would like to see those two clash at some point. That sounds like a fun fight one day.
It does sound like a good fight. So I don't know. Maybe the way welterweight can play out is you get Ugas versus Spence unification. And then if Spence wins or Ugas wins, you have to have the winner fight the winner of Butev versus Stanionis because of the WBA. You have the winner of Porter versus Crawford fight Virgil Ortiz because he's number 1 in the WBO.
Oof. Yeah, I feel Boots is going to be number 1 in the IBF now. He's probably number 1 in the IBF now.
And IBF don't play with their mandatories either.
Yeah, bro. Like, he's number 1. He was number 3 before that fight.
So we might not see a Crawford versus Spence fight unless they just say, forget about the Ugas fight, forget about all this other stuff. Maybe you just do Spence versus Boots right now.
Oh man, I don't know. That's a risky fight for Spence, taking off of an injury for no low reward.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody really knows Boots like that except for
low
us.
Reward. Yeah, low reward.
Yeah,
business wise, business. We're talking business, motherfucker.
What about my boy?
If I'm an Errol Spence manager, business wise, Boots ain't even looking at you, bro. Sorry, homie.
Yeah, nah.
Get your weight
What about my boy Keith part-time Thurman?
Part-time. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Is he in the conversation? I think a Keith Thurman fight would be.
I heard he's back in the gym.
Keith Thurman should fight like
Boots.
No, he'll die, bro.
That's another low reward fight. You saw what happened. He's been off. He's on a 2-year layoff.
Keith definitely needs a tune-up. So he definitely would.
He tried to take.
He can beat a Stanionis or a Butaev. Like he could do that.
And he was the former WBA champion, so he should be able to be right back in the mix.
He should just be able to get a tune-up fight against like a Jamal James or like, you know what I'm saying, like something of what a Thomas Delorme was. You know what I'm saying, like not now, but like
Thomas Delorme. We saw what happened his last 2-year layoff when he tried to use your boy.
Rosacito, yeah, he got
Riverside Rocky as a tune-up fight, and bro, he almost got knocked out.
So, but Riverside is better than a lot of those guys you're talking
about. Riverside. Maybe Riverside versus Boots.
Okay, that's a good one. Boots is gonna kill him though.
Yeah,
Boots gonna kill him. But just because he's too forward, he's too straight, he's too there. Boots is gonna put combinations all over him. Speed. I think he'll break him down. And he's older now. He's now like 37 or something like that. Like the years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's been a while. So I don't know. He's not that guy that I fought. And he's not even the guy that Canelo fought or nothing like that. Like, every year that passed.
Exactly, right? It's just adding on.
But it would be a good fight. It would be a good fight, though. It would be a good fight. I do think it would be a good fight. But Keith Thurman, if you're really thinking about him, man, Ivan Redcatch, something like that would be a good fight.
Ivan Redcatch, bro, is still crying over that fake injury against Regis Prograis on that Triller card.
Yeah, damn. she should keep crying. But at least he'll cry to the bank now. You know what I'm saying?
I know, man. They'll find somebody.
You be fighting for money now.
They'll find somebody for Keith. You know what I mean?
Just like kind of like if you were gonna move a Broner, you know, you find him like somebody. You know, you find him somebody.
I don't think Broner fighting again, bro.
Nah, I think he's retired.
I think he's going to jail.
Maybe.
He's in too much. He's in too much. Well, to wrap up 147, bro, I mean, who do you think is the best? You think it is Terrence or you think it's Spence? If those two fought, if we got what we wanted as boxing fans and those two fought.
I think Crawford is the better.
I think Crawford takes that W, bro.
I think Crawford takes that W, too.
Yeah, I feel like people are really high on Spence, you know, because his come up was really good. And he's been fighting great opposition, you know, with Porter, Danny Garcia, you know, Kell Brook, but I mean, I think Terrence is just a better boxer. I think he has way more tools, angles, abilities.
Yeah, I mean, Errol Spence's speed and physical strength could nullify that.
Yeah.
Porter could nullify that, so we'll see.
Yeah. I think that fight, November 20th, is going to be.
Porter could seriously just shut down the idea of that Spence fight. You know, we don't know what's going to happen yet. Crawford's been off for a long time. Porter's really strong. I've never seen Porter in an easy fight, unless he's doing the thrashing. You know what I mean? But if it's in a fight against him, you're in a fight, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I do think that Crawford gets out of that fight, though. I do think Crawford gets out of that fight with the dub. But
yeah,
we just gotta wait for Spence, bro. What the hell's going on with him? You know, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's ready to go. I think early next year. So we'll see what's up. Definitely needs to fight Crawford before he makes any other moves, because I heard that he was saying that he wants to move up to 154 eventually.
Yeah, that's a nice move up, though.
But the thing is, I don't get how he's going to do that, because who's he going to fight? His stablemate?
No, he got fights there.
I mean, no championship fights besides Castaño.
There you go. That's a fight right there. That's a good fight.
Yeah, but I mean, Castaño, I think either Castaño is going to run it back with Charlo, which is really the fight that should happen. But I heard that WBO might mandate your boy Tim that you brought up earlier.
That's a nice fight for Spence right there, Tim. You know
Tim? What do you think if WBO says Tim versus Castaño?
Castaño should beat him.
I mean, because for me, I know Castaño's only got the one belt, but once you have a draw with the champ, you're on the same level.
Yeah, but you don't get the belt.
Yeah.
Who got the draw?
Castaño versus Charlo.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? So for me, they're tied at number 1 in the division. Even though Charlo's got the Ring Magazine title.
They both got belts, though.
Yeah. You know, Charlo's got all the other ones. He's got the Ring Magazine title, this, that, whatever, lineal championship. But they had a draw, yeah. So for me, they're tied at number 1. Mm-hmm. So really, I would like to see them run it back right away. I think I'm hearing word that the WBO might make Tim a mandatory, and they might have to serve that up.
Luis Arias is also at 154 now.
Yeah, how do you think he does?
And he beat Jarrett Hurd.
Bro, Jarrett Hurd. What on wasn't that on like a big fight?
That was Mayweather.
The Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Yeah. Didn't they fight at? I thought they fought at 160 though.
Nope.
I want to say they fought at 160, bro.
It was 158.
Was it?
Catch weight. Yeah, it was a catch weight.
Same thing, 160.
But they're going down to 54. But yeah, I think.
Yeah.
What's his name is? They were like, because I follow Lewis. So Lewis is on his way down from 160, and Hurd is on his way up from 154. So they made a catch weight.
Hurd disappointed me in that fight, man.
Lewis made me proud, bro. You know, he dug deep and got that. He should have.
You know what? He did. He did.
Like, I feel like in that fight, Jarrett Hurd was just sleeping on him.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping on him. Thought he was just going to be able to go around and thrash him like Danny Jacobs did. But Danny Jacobs is a freaking light heavyweight, huge guy. And Jarrett Hurd is a huge guy for 154, but he's not that huge of a guy for for 160. Even in that fight, he looked way bigger than Lewis, but Lewis was able to dig and just pull out those. He just was landing more punches, bro. He was outworking him. He was beating on him, and it just looked like Hurd was stronger, but he was just taking punches. He was just taking punches all over the place. Like, and then you just see Lewis go off. Hurd hurt him a couple of times bad, but he didn't capitalize on it. He would still just find a way to get outworked. He was just getting outworked. But Lewis had a great corner. He had a great strategy. That's how he got it.
Man, I agree. When I remember watching that fight with my boys, and we were all there, and I was like, yo, if they give this decision to Hurd, then this ain't it. And I was glad that decision went the right way.
Yeah, Hurd got beat up, bro. Beat up.
Definitely lost. And it's kind of sad to see because, you know, being a former champ, I thought he was a great champion too, but
it doesn't take away, but it does just take away from his versatility as a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a one-trick pony that got figured out, and once he got figured out, people kind of beat him again.
Yeah, that pressure.
That's kind of what you want to, and then it's like, okay, he's going to give me like ridiculous pressure for this many rounds, and he's huge and strong, and he can punch. All right, let's go in there, and you got to take the punches. You got to weather the storm. They both fought a little different. Julian Williams was able to pick his opponent apart, box him, and use his distance, beat him up, hurt him from a distance, and make it look a lot easier. Versus Lewis, he didn't have that boxing skill and speed. So his game plan had to be, which was smart, was push the pressure fighter backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Push the pressure fighter backwards, push him backwards, push him backwards, push him backwards, push him backwards. And if you look in that fight, when Hurd was coming forward, he was successful. But most of the fight, which is why Lewis was so tired, was Lewis pushing forward, and taking steam off of the punches that were coming his way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you pressure somebody like that, they're punching you, but they're not punching you nearly as hard as when you're backing up.
They're punching you off the back foot, yeah.
Yeah, when they're on the front foot and they're hitting you with all their weight and you're just backing up and tired and just that's when you start to get broken down. Yeah. But if you switch sometimes, like Lewis was starting to get broken down when he was backing up. But when he switched it up, started pushing forward, he changed momentum. And,
I mean, it's a tough assignment too to take on that type of game plan.
So you gotta have enough power and physical strength to be able to do that against a guy like that.
You get that leverage underneath and whatnot.
Yeah, and it was a grueling fight, but he just was able to get off more punches, and so he won, bro. He won clearly.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the overall picture, it's one of those things because I was always thinking like, okay, what if Hurd comes back and
Tony Harrison is in there still.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it,
I think he's got to make a big.
Williams just lost.
He did lose. I saw that J-Rock lost over the weekend, right?
Lost. So, like, the division, Hammer is number one contender. He's still there. Like, I think Hammer beats most of those guys.
We'll see.
I don't think he beats Castano or Charlo, but I think he beats everybody else.
I mean, he already fought Charlo.
I know.
And that didn't go too well.
Didn't go too well.
Yeah, so that's the thing, man. He's got to really put on some good performances to make people forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like it's one of those things.
Yeah, but Vargas is gonna have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But it happens. Like John Ruiz. Remember John Ruiz? Do you ever remember him?
Nah.
You don't know who John Ruiz is? He fought Roy Jones. Roy Jones beat him for the
heavyweight world title. The heavyweight world title, yeah.
Okay, that's John Ruiz, right?
Yeah.
John Ruiz became champion of the world 2 times. And funny thing about what's his name? John Ruiz is when John Ruiz was like 20-0 or something like that. He fought David Tua. Have you seen that fight?
Nah.
Bro, David Tua knocked him out in 20 seconds. Cold. Starched him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it is, looking back at that video, you would have been like, man, who do you think out of those two is going to be champion? And everybody would be like, bro, Tua. But Tua didn't make it.
Nah, he lost to Lennox.
He lost to Ika Biabuchi, and then he lost to Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
Ika Biabuchi was in a title eliminator, and then he lost to Lennox Lewis for the belts. I mean, but that's a fucking tough assignment too, like beating that guy.
You gotta fight Lennox. Yeah, Lennox retired as lineal champ.
Man, yeah, he did though. But I still feel like he would have lost to Klitschko if he would have kept going.
Yeah, because he was supposed to fight Vitaly, right?
He fought Vitali, bro. He stopped Vitali on a cut, but I feel like if they would have just let that fight go,
They were supposed to rematch it.
Yo, bro, he never rematched.
That's what I was saying. They're supposed to rematch that fight.
Man, bro, Klitschko was on your ass, bro. Like he was on your ass, bro. It was a good fight.
He was like, no, I'm gonna cash out.
Yeah. I would cash out.
He said, I'm good. I'm good on this one,
man.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna go
147. Yeah, I like Boots Ennis as the dark horse, and I think I would say Crawford as the lineal champ #1.
Yeah, and then what do you think about? I mean, obviously 154.
We got
obviously the top guys. It's Castaño and Charlo. I feel like they need to run that back, but you got Tim. I think Tim is the biggest guy in the mix. If I'm gonna say who else,
he's a little dark horse.
If anybody else is in the mix, I think it's Tim, and then I guess your boy Arias, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, Arias has got to win this fight coming up. Then you got, Tony Harrison just had a draw against Brian Perella.
Yeah, so
he's not really in the mix anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying. Harrison needs to make a big comeback.
J-Rock not in the mix anymore.
Is Lara still at 154? Or is he at 160 now? I think he went
Lara's I don't know what he's doing with his life. Arias has got like I said, he got a fight coming up. 54. Lubin, he'd have to fight again. Yeah, I think Castaño
and Charlo really need to run that one back and see who's supreme, undisputed. But speaking of Charlos, man, we got another Charlo at 160. And just the 160-pound division in general, bro, I feel like, I don't know if you agree with this statement, but I feel like Canelo kind of just left it in destructed, like a destructed state after he left that division, because ain't nothing gone down at 160 since Canelo left.
He sure did, bro.
Absolutely nothing.
Which, unfortunately, happened. I don't understand because there's so much talent there still.
There's so much that should be happening and so much that's not happening.
You got Bubu Andrade.
Who's
going on with his life?
Fights absolutely nobody, but tries to call out everyone.
And he's never in the ring for whatever reason. I don't know when he's fighting. Then he's got a fight coming up. Charlo and Bubu Andrade is a great fight right there. That's a great matchup.
That's a fight that needs to be that. That's a fight that. But Charlo wins that fight.
But it doesn't matter. Just fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter who wins that fight.
I agree.
Those are two good fighters that just need to fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? And then who else?
Triple G is the IBF.
Triple G. And then that Sergey guy, he's still in there.
Oh, Derevianchenko? Bro, Derevianchenko, nah, he's not in there no more, bro.
He got beat by Danny Jacobs, right?
He got beat by Danny Jacobs a long time ago, but
Munguia's in there, isn't he?
Munguia's fighting Rosado.
At 160, right?
Yeah, and that's for a WBO title eliminator. So that fight that's going to be a good fight, and the winner of that fight is going to have to fight Boo Boo. And now Boo Boo is going to actually have to fight somebody who's not from England or you know what I'm saying?
Sheffield or some shit like that.
Bro, yeah, dude. And the thing is, too, man, I read these Instagram comments and stuff. Boo Boo's got this weird fan base of people who are convinced that this guy's like an elite level fighter, and but he's very good. And not taking away from that, but he's not like a top level elite fighter.
I think he'd have to prove it. See, if he's got a hardcore fan base, it's probably because they've been following him for years. And if you go back for years, like how long I've been following them, I only know of them is because I'm my amateur, right? And the amateurs, number one amateur was Bubu Andrade when I was coming up in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. He was like number one all those years. And since he was number one, even when I was in Puerto Rico, he would be winning all the world championships. Like he won a world championships. He would win gold in the Pan Am Games, but he fucked up in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he lost like an upset fight. He choked in the Olympics. Like he straight choked in the Olympics. He got a gold medal in the Worlds and choked in the Olympics. Was the favorite, number one seed in the Olympics to get the gold medal. Lost in the first round. Upset loss. Yeah, like nobody believed it. Everybody's like, oh my god. Like he had been
Can't believe it.
He had been undefeated in international competition for I think like 3 years or something like that. So he was just beating everybody in every tournament. And then he lost in the Olympics. And then he went pro. But because he didn't do too well in the Olympics was because no buzz was around him in the pros. And so, like, but if you know who he is and you follow his amateur trajectory, like, you know, like, he was very dominant for a long time. Like, he's very good. And he was beating world level competition as an amateur. I think that's a big reason on why he hasn't been able to get those fights as a pro. But because he hasn't been able to get those fights, people have been ducking him. But because he hasn't been able to fight, it doesn't give him any claim to say anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, here's the deal. My statement that I just made a second ago is that he's not an elite level fighter. And I'm just going off of the eye test, right? Because that's what we have to go off of because he hasn't fought elite level composition.
Yeah.
So first of all, for me, I feel like that Triple G unification, easy fight to make. Both on the zone. Eddie Hearn's down to make it. Why is that fight made? You got Triple G. Maybe it's Triple G's camp. I don't know. They're going to make some unification with Murata, the Japanese WBA champ, and who hasn't fought in 2 years. But the WBA, ain't putting no pressure on him like they are Ugas. Don't get me started on that. But, they got that going down. And that's for December 28th, bro, which is nuts. So in the meantime, let's have Charlo. Let's get a deal made with Charlo versus Andrade. Because who else is Charlo gonna fight, bro? Another Dennis Hogan?
Nobody. He should get a belt. And he should
ever since he moved to 160, his best fight was Derevianchenko, and I give him credit for that. That was a good performance. But I'll tell you what, on that night that they had the back-to-back pay-per-view, I guess, with
the brothers.
I don't even know if it was pay-per-view, but it was the back-to-back fight with the brothers.
And he looked like shit.
Bro, when he fought Matt Korobov, I thought that he had a worse performance than his brother against Harrison.
Bro, I used to beat the shit out of Matt Korobov. I'm not lying to you.
Yeah.
You can ask John David Jackson that. Bro, we would do 8 rounds. Me and Matt, we would do 8 round sparrings every time we sparred. And, this is when I was getting ready to fight David Grayton. So I'm getting ready to fight a lefty. And so, I was training in, some place out there in Boynton Beach or in Boca or something like that. So I was training with John David Jackson. He was training with Charles Mooney, who I don't know if that's still his trainer, if he's still fighting or whatever. But, bro, he would outbox me the first 4 rounds. And his boxing was really nice, bro. This is a world champion amateur, too. Pedigree, super skilled, super fast. Bam, bam. Beautiful boxing. But as soon as I was trying to box him and I would try to box him and he would just beat me to the punch and it would just be annoying. I would just be like, fuck this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll just start, boom, pressure. Bro, I'll beat the shit out of him. I'll beat his ass.
Yeah, when he was trying to box him, when Charlo was trying to box him, it was the same thing.
You can't. And I had a feeling that the styles, for example, if Charlo would have bulldozed him, he would have bulldozed him.
And he can do that, too.
He would have.
We've seen it happen.
The thing is that when you don't know a fighter, when you don't know who they are, and you step into a ring, all you know is you've seen them fight on film, but you don't know who they are. So you go on there in the first round and you show genuine respect. Usually, you know what I mean. You're out there, boom, okay, let's box. You know what I'm saying? You don't just run in there and start pressuring a guy. You don't know what they got. You know what I mean? Or you can get cold caught. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. But once you feel the guy's power, that's when you should kind of decide to kind of press the gas. And I don't know why Charlo was just picking to box with this guy. He picked to just not take him out.
And he was getting beat by the punch.
And he let it get close.
He was getting beat to the
punch. And he was letting this guy outbox him. He was letting this guy outbox him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he can beat you, outbox
And
him.
I thought he did get outboxed. And I was surprised that, the decision didn't go the other way. I'm not going to be that guy that's like, oh, he lost that fight, blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, on paper, like we said.
And you hurt him in the end.
He's going to.
He pressured him in the end, and he wobbled on him all over. He had him hurt in the end. Remember?
Yeah,
he had Korobov pretty badly hurt in the end of that fight. I think that's what saved him that fight.
That saved the day. But yeah, I thought he had a worse performance than his brother did against Harrison, and they gave Harrison the decision. So, yeah. So
it was an overall bad night for both of them, though, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was their first big. Moment with both of them on the card.
It was a big mistake putting them both back to back. I think they realized that too.
Yeah, and because in the next one they did some weird 2-card thing where one of them fought at 7:00 and the other one fought at 12. I don't know if you remember that. That I forgot who I think it was the Sergey Derevianchenko fight.
But they weren't fighting in the same place though.
No, I think they were fighting in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were fighting the same venue, but it was like two separate, legit separate cards on one pay-per-view. So one of them started at like 7 o'clock. And then the other one, they did a whole nother undercard and then had the other brother fight. And I was like, what the hell is Fox doing with their pay-per-view? Like, this don't even make sense. I think they're just trying to test the waters with new ideas and stuff, but I didn't like it. I thought it was whack. But the other thing I want to say about Jamal Charlo, the 160 pounder. Like I said, besides the Derevianchenko fight, I feel like he hasn't really fought nobody at 160. He's not really calling for unifications. But what I am hearing I'm hearing a lot of talks about David Benavidez for some reason.
Ooh.
But I seen this.
Derevianchenko?
No. Charlo.
Man,
Charlo versus Benavidez. But then Charlo, I seen a headline just recently. I read the article where I guess Charlo said, "Oh, meet me at 160 or a catch weight." Bro, to me that just says that's basically Charlo saying I don't want to fight because this guy David Benavidez can barely make 168, and you're saying that you want to fight?
I don't know about that.
He lost the title twice because of the scale.
Because he's stupid. He don't know how to make weight.
Do you think he can make 160?
I think if he talked to Robbie and Robbie gave him that little paper that Robbie gave me, I think he'd be set. I think what he's doing is that stupid shit that Mexicans do is like starving himself,
eating
not eating shit the week before the fight, and think that that's how they're gonna make the weight because now I'm not eating nothing, so I'm not gaining no weight, and then they get stuck and they can't lose weight and they get dizzy and they faint and they're like, oh my god, the show, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how it happens, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
and you almost die, and you don't make the weight.
Let's say even if he could, I think it's going to be similar to what happened with Bad Chad Dawson when he tried to make 168.
I don't know. I think if he makes 164,
let's say they make the fight at 165, right?
I think he can do that because look, like Benavidez in his last fight, he came and he was posting up a picture of him 167.9 a week out. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, why are you on weight a week out?
Yeah, same thing.
I think he was just trying to prove a point that, yeah, I can make this weight comfortably. And if he can make it the week before a fight, bro, he's just a fat ass, bro. He just likes to eat shit. That's just his problem.
Yeah,
bro.
but here's my deal.
Look at him. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the weight. It's not like he's ripped. No, he's not a ripped fighter.
That boy like to eat, man.
I think my point is
cookies, sugar, crab, cookies,
and Halloween just passed, so he's got a bunch of Kit Kats.
He got kids.
He got Snickers,
bro. He eats all.
He got all of that.
He eats all that, bro.
But my point is, this guy Charlo. Why is that? If you're talking about fight me at a catch weight, fight me at 160, then don't even talk about David Benavidez. You know what I mean? How about fight somebody at 160 first before you're even talking about? And that's the same thing that goes for Bubu Andrade and Charlo when they're talking about Canelo.
Yeah, they need to be talking about each other.
You need to be talking about each other. Don't be talking about Canelo. If you're serious about wanting a Canelo fight, move up to 168, fight one of the top contenders, and then put yourself in line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think you should chase Canelo, though. I think you should just definitely focus on what you're doing.
They want the payday.
They want that payday. They do want that payday.
They want the payday. You're a horrible fighter. You're a horrible fighter, man. And I agree, bro. They just want the payday. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, fight Triple G, bro.
That's a good fight.
None of them want Triple G.
I think Charlo wants Triple G.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna make it.
No, probably not.
I don't know if your boy Al's gonna let that happen.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I like that fight. Fucking Danny Jacobs even is a good fight.
Danny Jacobs, bro. So Danny Jacobs a 168 pounder now too.
Oh, then never mind.
Yeah, and then he barely won a decision, questionable decision against Rosado.
It was questionable, wasn't it?
In the new.
You know what, bro? Rosado though, it's been slept on for a long time. He's got a lot of questionable decision losses against a lot of people.
Bro, I feel like
he lost to Charlo. Have you seen that Charlo fight?
What, when he fought Charlo?
Yeah, it's a questionable stoppage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
The whole thing was questionable. Like he dropped. I think he dropped Gabe Rosado in the early fight, and then Gabe Rosado came back and dropped him in the 7th. got cut around that time, and then his blood was, leaking the way he always does.
That cut, yeah, that he has.
But he was starting to come on.
It was like the Peter Quillen fight.
Oh, that too. The same thing with the Peter Quillen fight.
He had that huge cut that was like this.
But he was coming on, and he had just dropped him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he was pissed.
Same thing happened.
Gabriel Rosado is somebody that people sleep on because he's got 13 L's. But those 13 L's, bro, are so much experience. Like, you fought Triple G. You fought Charlo, Quillen. Like, bro, he's fought so many people that he's going to fight Munguia next. I think that's literally next weekend, bro. I want to say it's next weekend on the Zone.
So.
And if he beats Munguia, then that puts him as the mandatory against Boo Boo. And I guess, and then we'll see if Munguia is the real deal too, because Munguia hasn't really fought nobody.
Munguia's gonna be Gabe.
Yeah, but I don't really blame Munguia for not really fighting nobody because the dude's like 24, you know. Yeah, so he's got a lot of time, you know what I mean. But when you're Boo Boo, who was Boo Boo like 32, 33, something like that.
No, yeah, he's 33. He's maybe 34. 33.
Yeah, so it's like, bro, you got to get these fights going. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of super middlegweight 168, bro, we got a huge fight going down this weekend, bro. Huge fight. I don't know if you heard of it. I don't know if you know what fight's going down.
Yeah, man, Canelo, bro.
Man, Canelo, dude. So
he won that payday.
And Frank's gonna get that payday, bro.
He got that payday. At least so far, if nothing happens, right? He got the payday.
It's looking good, bro. So talk me through it, man. What do you think about this fight? What do you think about this matchup? How do you see this fight going down?
Bro, I think what most other people see. I see, like, my man Caleb Plant, bro.
On the canvas?
He's going to evaporate, I think, towards the end of that fight. I think he's just going to get withered, broken down, beat up. And he's barely going to make it to the end. You know what I mean? Like,
you think he's going to hear the bell?
I think you might hear the bell. And just in an escapatory fashion. You know what I mean? Like, moving out of the way, starting to run away when he gets hurt real bad. Get dropped maybe a couple times in that fight. And just because he's got good movement, good boxing, Canelo's going to let him run around. You know, he's going to know he's winning all the rounds. And I think he's just going to lose a unanimous decision, I think, personally. But he's just going to be running away, you know, in a survival mode.
Yeah.
It's going to be a survival mode kind of a fight. Like, he's going to fight in survival mode, and I think he's got the tools to survive. I think he's got the mobility, the movement. If he doesn't get clipped with a shot that takes away his legs, I think he's got the ability to survive that fight. That being said, he's not winning.
No.
I
don't think he's winning at all.
But I think he's got the tool set to get out of there, make it to that final belt, which is kind of what I'm hoping for, what I'm rooting for. But
how many rounds he wins?
I think he might win like 2, man. You know what I mean? 1 or 2. And I think they're gonna come early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he's gonna win the first round. You know, maybe. You know what I mean?
And then maybe
he's gonna win. He's gonna win 1 or 2 of the first 3.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of the first 3. He might not win the first round, but he's gonna. And honestly, he needs to win the first round. Like, if he loses the first round, he's getting stopped. If he wins the first round, like, I could see him maybe, you know, lasting. But if he loses that first round and he's starting to get outboxed, he's not making it to the final belt.
Yeah, definitely.
If he comes out there, you know, is able to establish himself, but I still just don't see he don't got the power to hurt Canelo. In my opinion, he just don't, because he doesn't fight on the front foot coming forward. He's never really been a big puncher. Canelo's different kind of a beast in boxing wise and in the ability to take punishment. Like, dude, if Triple G couldn't do nothing to him, come on, bro.
He walked through all the Triple G shots.
Stop it, bro.
Yeah.
Stop it. If you can't take that man's punch, like, stop it, bro.
No, for sure. I agree with you, man. What do you think about Andre Ward's assessment? Have you heard of this? He thinks that Andre Ward says that Plant is going to win by knockout.
I think that's bias. I think, you know, Andre Ward's opinion is very biased, and it's covered up with
because they're boys.
Yeah, it's covered up with a lot of emotion. There's like a lot.
I don't even think Andre Ward believes that. Andre Ward's like, yeah, he's gonna win by knockout, and then he looks at his other boy like.
Jose Vargas, bro. I was hyping up Jose Vargas like crazy. I was like, yo, Jose's gonna fucking kill this dude. Chon Cepedo's gonna swing at air. But in real life, like, I mean, I'm just hyping up my boy, bro. Like, I know, like, if we talk in private, I'm like, bro, like, he's a beta. Like, bro, I have him up on my Instagram. I have his fight on my Instagram. Like, bro, that dude is the truth, bro. Like, I knew he was probably gonna lose, bro, but I was gonna hype him up because that's my boy.
Yeah, the money. If you actually
and
put
so
the money
Andre
on
Ward
it.
is doing the same thing. Andre Ward is hyping up his boy. Like, you're gonna hype up your boy. I would say the same thing if that was my boy, and I know he's going to the funeral. I'd be like, bro, my boy's gonna knock you out. Like, that's just what I was saying. I know we're going to the morgue.
And then you bet the money line right over there.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, I agree with you, man. I feel like, bro, anybody that's saying that Plant is gonna win, I don't think so at all. I mean, maybe he shocks all of us. I might
troll some people and say that on my Instagram, but no, not gonna win, bro. At least between me and you.
We'll play this one back, right?
Yeah.
And be like, nah. But, bro, I think if you really break it down, dude, the experience level is night and day, dude, when it comes to Canelo versus Plant. Bro, Canelo's fought, 18, 19 world champions?
Bro, I seen Caleb Plant get beat up by Craig Duncan.
The danger zone, bro.
You know that?
The danger zone.
Did you know they fought?
Nah.
Yeah, bro. First time I ever seen Caleb Plant was in Indianapolis, right? So I had just lost to Tony Harrison, and since when you lose, you gotta still be there for a week. I lost the third day, right? So I won the first two fights, and I lost in the quarterfinals
to Tony.
So it's Tony motherfucking Harrison, bro. And I knew he was like bigger than me, bro. I was like, I looked at this motherfucker and I was like, man, this motherfucker look like a different weight class.
Yeah,
he was.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So he was just a little bigger than me. But back then I fought at 152, so you gotta fight 54s, 47s. You know.
Yeah, because it's 52 or what, 41.
Yeah, bro. I can't make no 41. So like I could make at the time I could have made like 43, 44. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but 41 is.
If it would have been a 45 pound, if it would have been a 145 pound weight class, I would have been fighting at 145.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for amateur. But I couldn't make 145. There wasn't no 145, and 141 was like way too steep.
Yeah.
You know? I lost one of those fights looking like Chad Dawson. And then, I had to go up to 52, and then that's just what it was. So then at that point, I had to fight guys bigger than me, and sometimes they'll give a kilo, and I had to fight at 154.4. But anyway, so next day comes is the semifinal. I lose, right? I lose the quarterfinals, and I'm like all bummed out and whatever. So then I go and I'm chilling, and Craig Duncan got to fight in the semifinals now. And so Craig Duncan and Daquan Arnett are the only two people left on our team, because everybody lost in the quarterfinals. Like me, Dennis Galarza, like everybody, we all lost in the quarterfinals. And a couple of them lost in the opening round. So we're just kind of like, just chilling there. So Craig Duncan's the only one of the only ones left, and he's fucking fighting Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has a little buzz around him at the time because he's a white boy, looks smooth, and he had won last year, I believe. He had won the year before, and this kid was only 19, and the year before he was only 18, So, or something like that. He was like 19 or 20. He was young, and Craig Duncan was older. Craig Duncan was like 26. He was like an older amateur. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was still an amateur, and it was at 178 was this fight. So, granted, like Caleb Plant's been fighting at a heavyweight class, but Craig Duncan, bro, he just beat him up, bro. He
put the thumps on him.
Put the thumps on him, bro. Granted, it was a long time ago. Caleb Plant was a kid fighting a man, but Caleb Plant got beat up. Hated the pressure, did do well, and won the fight. He won the fight. He got the decision. That's what happened. He got the decision. But it was one of those fights where it was like, man, I don't know. Nobody really thought he won.
Yeah.
Nobody really thought he won. And he really didn't like dealing with that pressure. But, it was also wild pressure. It wasn't the type of pressure Canelo's going to put on.
Canelo puts that steady pressure and that mental pressure on you as well.
So, he doesn't do well with it.
I agree. I agree with you, bro. And I think there's a parallel to draw here with that, because when you look at the resume, the experience, I feel like this is also a kid fighting the man. Canelo's fought in so many world championship
he's a little
fights.
Older. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So when we see Craig Duncan, a guy who, we know doing mitts back here with kids and shit, beating up Caleb Plant, I don't know, bro.
Dude,
I don't know. It doesn't let me have a good idea. If I've seen you in that light, just like I've seen Berlanga. I love Berlanga and I root for him and stuff. That's another 168, by the way. It's coming up. But I've seen Berlanga in some pretty. I'm not gonna put him on blast on YouTube, but I've seen him, in some pretty precarious situations in sparring.
He was in a pretty precarious situation in his last fight on the.
I've seen him in those type of situations.
The canvas, bro.
Against guys that are in a smaller weight class than him, So I'm just, I'm yet to see something that I don't see him matching up. I think he's going to be a solid contender for a really long time, and he might be able to get a world championship. And I'm rooting for him if he ever does. But right now, I don't see any weak champions in that weight class.
I mean, there's only two, and it's Plant and Canelo.
Well, you're right. Exactly.
There's two.
There's that weight class today is just too strong. Like, you got Canelo, you got Plant.
Ain't nobody beating Canelo at 160. I mean, actually, you can make that's what I was gonna say. You can make an argument. I'll make this argument, bro. I feel like David Benavidez has more of a claim to the WBC title at 168 than Devin Haney has claim to the WBC title at 135. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like, and I was telling my girl this the other day.
Cocaine, you know what I'm saying? Let a man do what he want to do, man. Let him fight, though. As long as he can fight, nobody cares. Let him put whatever he wants in his body.
Yeah, let him do his thing. So
let him do his thing, bro.
I think
go get high. Who cares?
I think even if Canelo beats Plant and unifies the division, I think there's still unfinished business with David Benavidez, because David Benavidez still, you know what I mean? Because Canelo won that vacant title and then had to defend it against Avni Yildirim. That's not a real fight. You know what I mean?
Nah.
David Benavidez, that's the WBC mandatory that it should.
WBC Benavidez, I think, beats Plant. Benavidez,
Me too.
I think, beats Berlanga pretty badly. And I think Berlanga can beat Plant, but Berlanga could also lose to Plant.
I think Plant beats Berlanga.
By unanimous decision, 12-0.
I think he beats him up. Honestly,
and then it could happen. It could happen.
But this is something that I want to take a look at, bro, because we look at, what I said earlier when it was like, when you look at the resumes of Canelo versus Plant, and it's like a grown man fighting a child or a kid.
Yeah.
Bro, Plant's resume, you look at this, okay, he's the champion, right? But when you look at his box rec, he's fought two other champions. And I don't want to put down these other champions, but we have to be, realistic about this. He fought two other champions. One was Jose Uzcategui, which that fight was his first defense after being elevated from an interim IBF champion. So he didn't really win the belt off of nobody. He was elevated into an IBF champ. And his Plant's only other win against a world champion was in January against an older Caleb Truex, who won the belt one time, and then the very next fight lost it again against James DeGale. You know what I mean? And then he fought the older version of him. So and then other than that, his other championship.
Yeah, he fought the worn down
Caleb Truex.
Well, Caleb Truex fought that worn down, broken down version of James DeGale
as well. Yeah, missing a tooth.
And then Truex or whatever. Yeah, bro, he was just not a real legitimate champion. He was.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's what I'm saying. When you look at the level of champion that he won, on paper you say, okay, he beat two world champions, right? But when you look at, okay, on what level of world champion were they? It's not the level of Miguel Cotto. It's not the level of Erislandy Lara. It's not the level
of
not even, Triple G.
No.
And then people also want to say
it's about at the level of Rocky Fielding.
Yeah, I would say so. You would say, yeah, the same thing.
Like Rocky Fielding and Caleb Truex, like right there.
Yeah, the same level. You know what I mean?
Two guys that are not good.
And you saw what happened to Rocky Fielding.
I'll put him more like.
He's better.
Like an Angulo, you know what I'm saying? Like
he beat up Durrell.
Yeah, like an Alfredo Angulo, maybe like a little younger, you know what I mean? Because
he took that shot from the trainer on the chin. You know,
he did, and he didn't go nowhere. He ain't going nowhere, bro. That was wild, bro.
That was crazy, but Here's my thing, bro.
He could take a shot. Yeah, he could take a shot.
Other than those two, you look at his other title defenses against Mike Lee and Vincent Feigenbutts.
Who?
Exactly.
Man.
Bro, it's like, here's my deal. When we break down the X's and O's of Caleb's game.
Who was his last fight? All right, what happened? Yeah.
Oh, man. Freaking Vincent Feigenbutts, bro.
Bro, that's horrible. That's a horrible name.
I know,
Could
terrible.
not be famous with that name?
Bro, the guy never fought out of Germany. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like Germany's known for having, crazy boxers besides the Klitschko brothers used to fight there, but they're not even German.
Nope.
But when you break down the X's and O's, right, people try to say, because people want to make this case for Plant. So they're saying, oh, he moves really well. He moves moderately well, right? He's not the best. He's not Erislandy Lara.
No.
But people want to be like, oh, Canelo struggles against these guys. Bro.
He does.
Against who?
He has.
But that's what I'm saying, Lara. But look at time, right? When Canelo fought Lara, when he was in camp training for Lara, Plant was making his pro debut. You feel me? So since that fight, bro, Canelo's had a whole nother career fighting champions, multiple weight divisions, knocking people out. And you're talking about, bro, this guy's talking about getting rocked by Jose Miguel Cotto in 2009. Like, what were you doing? Getting beat up by Craig Duncan?
Craig Duncan, bro. You
know what I mean? So when you tell me that
not
kind
even,
of stuff,
bro. Craig Duncan hadn't even beat you up yet, bro. Straight up.
Exactly. So I'm like, bro, you can't even bring that kind of stuff up. Canelo's just on a whole nother level.
I see you get beat up by Craig Duncan, bro.
And then I hear people also saying, like, I've heard these criticisms that, oh, Canelo's not going to knock him out. He couldn't knock out Callum Smith. He couldn't knock out,
Callum Smith is a very good boxer, bro.
He won the Super 6.
He's a very good boxer, bro. He honestly shouldn't have taken that fight because he didn't have enough time to prepare for a guy like Canelo. Because he took it kind of short notice.
And Canelo took away his weapons.
So he took it with like 5 weeks, so he wasn't in the best type of shape that he should have been. But, bro, Callum Smith is a fucking awesome fighter, bro.
And here's the deal. I'll tell you, one of the reasons why he wasn't in jeopardy of getting knocked out is because he accepted the position of, I'm losing this fight. You know what I mean?
He submitted.
When he was just sitting there like this, same thing with Chavez Jr., and that's the exact reason why I'm saying right now, on air, that Plant is going to get knocked out, because Plant, he talks all this talk about, oh, I have this mental, like, I have this heart, I have this mental attitude, like, this ain't gonna happen to me, bro. There's only so much of that can get you, like, that will get you to win fights if you're fighting like Arturo Gatti. You know what I mean? But if you're fighting a guy who's so much more skilled than you in Canelo, all you're gonna do is allow openings to get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, like, oh, he didn't knock out Miguel Cotto, he didn't knock out Miguel Cotto because Miguel Cotto didn't go for it.
Yeah,
Plant is gonna go for it, and he's gonna get knocked out.
And Miguel Cotto's a smart fighter, bro. Like, he's
a
genius. He's a G in there. He's a veteran. He knows how to get out of situations. He made that fight close.
Yeah.
But he knew he was outgunned in regards to size and strength and just physical attributes. So he kind of had to fight the fight in his way and played his role and try to eke out a decision, which he didn't get. But he did his thing. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't win, but he did his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Caleb Plant's even going to have that much luck. It's not going to be as close as that fight. It's not going to be – I don't really ever remember Canelo hurting Cotto, to be honest with you.
He hit him with clean shots, but Cotto was never
not ever, but where you were like, you know what I'm saying, like how Mayweather got him or how Chop Cotto got
with
him.
that uppercut in the 12th.
Yeah, he has good shots, but Mayweather buckled that man.
He did buckle him at the end of that fight.
He had him finished.
Yeah, and
like, if it would have been one more round, he could have finished it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it was one of those 15-round older fights,
he would have finished.
But
Cotto
with
like
Plant, bro, I'm telling you right now, this this is my my prediction. This is how this fight's gonna go down. The first 3 rounds, Plant's gonna have success because he's fast, he's quick, he's gonna throw that jab out, and Canelo's just gonna sit there and kind of be like, "All right, I'm gonna let you do your thing for a second. I'm gonna see what you got." He's gonna throw his jabs, he's gonna throw his counter shots. But what you said earlier was key to this, and we've seen it from Plant, is that Plant doesn't handle the pressure well. And he's going to get
even
pressure.
with Usyk, he was getting really tired.
Exactly, bro. You watch the fifth round of that fight and tell me that Canelo won't knock that man out, bro. Even Uzcateki's pressure isn't comparable to Canelo's pressure. Because Canelo...
It's a different kind of pressure because I will say this, it's more relentless pressure than Canelo's going to put on. Because Usyk, he's putting on relentless pressure because he's only got one plan of fight. Mm-hmm. Versus Canelo's going to put strategic pressure because he's got multiple different plans. He's okay sitting in the middle of the ring and letting you run around and me not having to put pressure on you because he knows he could win the round with one good shot. You know what I'm saying? And then take that round. He can take that round in the bag and hang out and just win an easy decision. He's not going to necessarily work harder than he has to. Versus Usyk knows he has to work extremely hard going forward. And that was the plan to break down Plant. And had that been a 15-round fight, bro, Plant wouldn't have won that, bro. Plant wouldn't have got...
Because Plant was getting beat up at the end of that fight.
It was like, 13, 14, 15 would have been a nightmare for that man. He would have not made it through, I don't think, honestly.
Yeah, and if you watch that fight, bro...
So it just depends on what kind of pressure...
Even round 5, round 6, bro, Plant was getting hit with clean hooks to the chin with straight right hands, like lead right hands, boom, right in the chin. And this is how I think Plant is going to get knocked out. There's going to be one of 2 ways. Either trying to escape, right? When he tries to get that escape route, either he's going to get caught with a hook, because Canelo is very well, even though Canelo has the less of a reach, he's very good with his distance management and being able to get inside of that. So that reach and all the height, that don't even matter to him. You know what I mean? Because he controls that distance. So he's going to hit that hook on the outside, or specifically Plant, when he tries to escape and pivots out to his left, he puts that back foot on the outside of that front foot a lot of the times. And once he's getting hit to the body, once he's feeling that pressure, he's going to revert back to that in his mind mentally, but without having the distance to be safe doing it. And that right hand is going to land on the pipe.
Yeah, I think he's going
to get Canelo.
Well, I think he's going to get dropped a couple times in that fight.
Or there's another little combination that Plant loves to do, where he starts with the right hand and throws body, and then doubles the hook upstairs. He dropped Usyk with it, and he loves to just try to go back to that one. You know what I'm talking about? Where he goes, boom, boom, boom. And he was getting hit with hooks from Usyk from it. But if he tries to trade that with Canelo, Canelo's just going to go catch, boom.
He should be able to easily beat him. Honestly.
Canelo's so much smarter than that. And you seen Eddie Reynoso sitting there watching the tape. He goes, man, I know exactly what this guy's going to throw. I know what this guy's combinations are, his go-to. Once he feels that pressure, it's going to go back to what's inside of here. And it's going to be easy work for Canelo. After 6 rounds, it's going to be easy work.
I think so.
It might not even go 6, bro.
I mean, it could go 3. I don't know, nah. I don't think Caleb Plant's going to get knocked out quick. I think he's going to give some resistance.
Yeah, because he's got solid pop. He's quick on the hands.
But come on, bro. It can happen. It depends how he comes. I had a feeling that Vargas was going to get knocked out in the first round. I had just this weird feeling that he was going to get stopped in the first round. Because that fight, the hype of the fight, everything about that fight just reminded me a lot of Hammer versus Charlo. I don't know why. It just did. They were just getting all wild in the weigh-in, talking, all yelling, just getting all hype. And I just felt like this nervous energy from him, where it was he was acting out of character. He was acting putting on a show to cover up his self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What he's really thinking. And it shows. It got exposed in that fight. You can't really hide it.
Not for sure.
Not for long, bro.
And speaking of, man, I mean, when it comes to that kind of energy and whatnot, do you think anything from the press conference is going to play a factor? Do you think that Plant?
I don't know. That cut looks bad, right? I feel like.
Well, even just just the fact that he got countered so clean. A lot of people were like, man, that's a 10-8 round right there for Canelo. They haven't even started the fight yet. He's already up on the scorecards.
Yep, it's like that. I think it could play mental. Bro, I think Plants, man, I would like to see him survive, but I think if he came in there cool, calm, and collected, he'll survive and he'll make it through the fight. But I really think he's going to come out there and try to prove something, and he's going to get caught.
I think so too, man. I think he has something to prove, and I don't think his combination.
I hope he doesn't fight on him. If he fights on emotion, he's going to sleep.
He's going to try to bring the fight to Canelo, and
he can't. He's just got to be smart, pick his shots. But Canelo's going to fucking pressure the shit out of him after 6. He's going to break him down.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's here's one thing, and we can close on this, right? One thing that nobody's bringing up, and I think this is a big thing that's gonna really show for the state of boxing as well, is that nobody's talking about how this fight is on the same night as the UFC card.
What UFC card?
Kamaru versus Colby 2.
Oh, that's a good fight too.
The Madison Square Garden card. It's going to be Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje.
That's a great fight.
Rose versus Wei Li 2.
Wow, great card.
Exactly. So it's a huge card. One of the, besides Conor McGregor, it's probably their best card of the year at Madison Square Garden, and it's going up head to head with boxing's #1 star and his. I mean, I would say this fight is the greatest accomplishment that he can create, is being unified champion at 168 pounds. So when you have boxing's #1 star with the best accomplishment that he could even get versus minus Conor McGregor, the UFC's best card that they can put on at Madison Square Garden going head to head, I'm interested to see what those pay-per-view numbers look like.
They're both pay-per-view?
Both of them. One's Showtime and one is ESPN Plus, UFC.
Well, I'll say this. The UFC has a better matchup, when it comes to matchup. But, Canelo's Canelo. So I think Canelo should pretty easy dominate. But it's not like we're sitting here watching Canelo versus, I don't know.
Yildirim.
Yeah. Or Canelo versus Charlo. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'll be a bigger draw. I don't think Plant is that big of a draw either.
Yeah, I don't think Plant really is, but
I think Usman is way bigger than Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? And so is Covington.
Yeah, for sure. I would say though that this fight has had a lot more hype around it. Besides maybe the Triple G.
Fight. You're right. Yeah.
Besides then,
and shit,
yeah, for Canelo's fights in the past, besides the Triple G fights, this is probably the most hyped because of that press conference, because of the smack talk, the whole oh, you're a drug cheat, this and that.
For sure.
So I'm interested to see what happens because, I mean, when it comes down to the business side of things, these pay-per-views are bought by the hardcore fans, but it's a lot of the times that revenue comes from the casuals. You know what I mean? Those casual fans.
It just depends on who decides to buy what, where the location is.
I don't even know how I'm gonna watch it, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna. I might have to buy the Canelo fight on Showtime, and then
I don't know how to buy that either.
And then watch it, and then wait for the UFC, and then watch it afterwards, or should I pause? Should I pause the UFC?
Who do you root for UFC? Who do you think's gonna win that?
I'm rooting for. I'll start with the bottom. Is I'm rooting for Michael Chandler versus Gaethje, but I don't think that's a good matchup for him. I'm rooting for Rose.
I want Michael Chandler to win too.
Yeah, but I think it's the worst matchup for him against Justin Gaethje. I want Rose to win because she already knocked this girl out with that head kick. I was there in Jacksonville. That was crazy.
Lit.
Everybody was booing her, the Chinese girl.
Oh.
And yeah, she was sad about it, but she got knocked out. So, and then Usman, and then I saw Usman knock out Masvidal too. That was crazy. So I like Colby, bro. My girl, Colby's her favorite fighter. Just because all this shit he talks, bro. And his Instagram's what's up, nerds and virgins? Greetings.
It is funny, bro.
Yeah, bro. You got to see what he was talking about Hamzat Chimaev. It's real funny. But I mean,
come shot, Chamaya or whatever.
yeah, bro, so funny, dude. I was like, oh my god. They're like, I don't think that's his name. But yeah, man. If I'm putting money on it, I'm putting money on Usman.
So.
But at the same time, here's another thing: is that Usman's talking about trying to fight Canelo.
Shut up, bro.
Which is
Stop.
stupid. Which is stupid. But here's why I bring this up. It's because Usman specifically said that fight scares me. That fight wakes me up in the morning. It motivates me. So it makes me think, okay, well, are you not motivated for this fight? Like, Covington was your toughest fight. So are you lacking motivation for this one? Because if you are, you might have a long night ahead of you.
Colby's coming for kill. He's coming for blood.
And I don't think this is going to be the same fight that we saw. I think Covington's going to go for takedowns. I think he's going to go for grappling. We saw that kickboxing fight the last time. And I think this time they're going to switch it up a lot. So,
do you think you can beat Colby on the Kamaru on the ground though? I mean,
I don't know. From what I understand, Colby said he goes, "I'm an All-American wrestler. You were D2." So, but the thing is, Usman says when it comes to, he goes, "I'm not the best at any category, but when it comes to mixing all this shit up, I'm number one." So I don't know, man. They got similar styles. I think Usman beats him in the stand-up. Especially now with Trevor Whitman. His boxing's gotten a lot better. Definitely ain't on no fighting Canelo level. But
no, bro. I mean,
that
you
shit
gotta
is
just
silly.
stop with that Canelo
Yeah.
shit.
But
They're just gonna ruin his career, bro. He needs
we'll
to stick
see.
with his shit.
We'll see what happens. What's your as we close out, what's your official the official Miguel Cruz prediction for Canelo versus Plant?
The official Miguel Cruz prediction, I think, man, Caleb, unfortunately, he's going to have a lot of trouble crossing that finish line. I think he's either going to barely make it to the finish line or he gets stopped in the 10th, 11th, or 12th.
All right, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say over under 8.5 rounds.
Yeah, so I think about between 10 and 12. We'll see.
I want to say 6.
6?
6.
You think Caleb's gonna stop him?
Caleb's going to bed, bro. Caleb's going to sleep.
Yeah, he's going to sleep, bro.
Yeah,
but,
bro.
You know, I'll have my candles out ready for the funeral. You know, I like Caleb.
Caleb's gonna be like, as if he just listened to Terence Crawford talk. He's gonna be sleeping.
Yeah.
He's gonna have his pillow, his blanket.
He's gonna have a pillow, blanket,
his hot chocolate,
some soft music playing in the background.
Yeah, Jordan's gonna get that all ready for him.
Yeah, man, definitely.
And tuck him in.
What is that called?
Setting the mood.
Yeah, no, you have to, because he's gonna have a good little nap. But yeah, at least you know he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid. He's gonna have that payday, and he's gonna go on vacation, baby. You know.
I won't say that he's a horrible fighter, but
he's gonna get that payday
for sure.
That's the only reason why, man.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what happens, but you know, let's talk about this next week.
Let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens, bro. We'll talk to you soon, bro.
I'm interested, bro. But all right, my man. That's Miguel Cruz. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys thought about this, what your predictions are, and we'll see what happens during this fight. Until next time.